Cards Against Humanity is suing Elon Musk. That's a real headline we're going to discuss. Then we'll get to our case today. We're getting political. What's the etiquette in putting political signs in your yard? And how the heck does Mel Brooks' Spaceballs get involved? Stay tuned to find out. What you are listening to is real. The parties involved are not cool. They are actual geeks with a case pending in the court of public opinion. The party's case has been dismissed, and the dispute will be settled here on our podcast. There will be no lawyers. There will be no witness testimony. The judge's decisions are final.
Hello, I'm Judge Ivan.
I'm Judge Jonathan, and this is Geeks on Trial. Today's case, Dark Helmet 2024.
Hello and welcome to Geeks on Trial. This is the podcast where we settle petty disputes between actual geeks over movies, video games, board games, and more. If you'd like to submit your own geeky case for a future episode, you can email us at geeksontrial@gmail.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/geeksontrial.
Yeah.
Nice and short. Just keeping it short.
Wow.
Right there. $5 a month. That's all you need. We'll talk about it at the end of the show.
Sure. Look forward to that. That's a little tease for you. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you're having a good, fun time out in the summer sun.
It's well, it's fall now. It's officially fall is the time we're recording this
but
message.
if you're in Australia or something, it's hot.
You're upside down and being attacked by spiders.
If you're in Canada,
it's cold.
Not so hot. Probably cold. If
you're in hell,
Florida,
what's the
thing.
difference? Yeah,
okay. Boy, we didn't rehearse this, folks.
Nope. This is just off the top of our mustache.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't want to. For audio listeners, I just wanted them to be blissfully ignorant of the ongoing mustache.
Yeah.
But for video viewers, I am joined this week by my co-host, Wilford Brimley.
I do have the diabetes, and I don't check it often.
You said it was going away. You said it was going away.
But as you know, and I know, shaving takes effort, and I am not a person who likes to put in any effort in anything. Thus shaving. So I'm hoping this will just fully take over my face. I'm in. There's
to look directly at it.
There's a divorce. There's a divorce going on right now because of the mustache.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't say it's yours.
Well, no, but there is a divorce somewhere on this earth going on because of my mustache, and
it's like the butterfly effect. Yeah. It has long-term repercussions that we can only begin to try to understand at this point.
But you have some facial hair, and I'm sure you have some issues.
Is this just the check-in every week for the opening 5 minutes is facial hair corner now?
Yes. It's getting annoying. It's getting into my mouth. That's all I'm going to say. It's gross.
Well, you can like trim the bottom of it without losing the mustache.
But at that point, I should have shaved the mustache, no?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you should.
Next week's episode, I'll shave the mustache. That'll be my. No, I'm not doing that. It's gonna be awful.
You are. Let's start the show, shall we?
We should start the show. It's called Mustache Corner.
We got big news this week.
We do. Speaking of, does he have a mustache? Anyway.
Big weird news. You all know the company Cards Against Humanity. You probably know them best for their product, which is called Cards Against Humanity.
Huh. What is that?
Yeah, it's a card game you can play. People know what it is.
Against humanity?
In a way.
Okay.
But this company, in addition to that, they do all kinds of weird stuff. They do some political stuff. They raise money for things. They'll do like strange offshoot projects because Cards Against Humanity, the card game, has made them a shit ton of money.
Right.
They basically have just used it for these funny, weird projects.
Because why not?
And one of them was buying a plot of land near the Mexican border. This was back in, I don't even know, 2020 maybe? Sometime around when Trump was president or was going to be president.
It was around, I think it was around the beginning. It was before pandemic, I want to say.
Perhaps.
The pandemic, not the game pandemic,
oh, right.
Which might be
Biden
confusing.
was president in 2020. The timeline is so skewed for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Maybe so it was 2016, maybe. Dear Lord. Dear God. Dear God.
Oh God, he's having an attack, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm spiraling.
Oh no.
I'm spiraling. It's been almost 10 years since Donald Trump was first elected president.
But he's coming back, baby.
Oh, good God. Yeah, that's what I said first. Anyway, they purchased a plot of land as kind of a middle finger to Trump to basically prevent him from completing his border wall around the Mexican border.
That's probably a law.
And all they did was just put up a fence and a sign saying no trespassing. It was a whole thing. People donated some money for them to buy this plot of land.
Right.
Well, apparently, in the last recentness,
Oh boy,
Bear
folks.
with
Okay,
me.
come on. Just breathe in and breathe out. Okay.
Beloved
It'll be okay.
billionaire and tech mogul Elon Musk
We love him. Can't get enough
was
of him.
using this plot of land to store his own SpaceX bullshit. He was doing
Garbage.
some kind of project, and he was just using this land illegally because they owned it. It was private land. He did not ask for permission to use it.
He trespassed on a non-trespassing tract of land. Yes.
To have his, just put equipment and whatever he left there. And now Cards Against Humanity is suing him. I guess him and SpaceX, the company. I don't know exactly what the legal lines are.
Right.
But effectively, they're suing Elon Musk over this, and they're asking for, I believe, $15 million.
Which to somebody like Elon Musk, not a lot of money. He could just sell what?
Drop in the bucket.
One share, sell some Elon cars.
What's your take on this? As we are judges, so this is legal.
We are judges. Oh, look, I found my gavel. It's at the border. I left it there. I didn't tell anybody. I left it at the border.
Wait a minute. Do you work for SpaceX?
I cannot say. That's why I have the mustache. It's a hiding thing. I put glasses on and a trench coat. Yeah, Elon Musk is a scumbag. I'm just going to put it out there like that for multiple issues. Since the last time we've talked about Elon Musk, that ugly car has hit the market. The
Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck. Have you ever seen one IRL? They stick out like a fucking sore thumb. It is like you're driving down the street and it's like it's bigger than like a normal car. It looks like the graphics haven't loaded yet on this car. It's very weird and it's a funky looking thing. Anyway, so for a multitude of reasons, like even if this wasn't Elon Musk and this was just somebody dumping things for a pseudo government project on some land, that's kind of screwed up to begin with. First off, you're trespassing. You're trespassing. Secondly, I'm 98% positive this land is right on the border of the U.S. and Mexico, which means Elon Musk was just fine with leaving his scraps, his construction stuff, just right on the border of Mexico. Like, even if he wanted to, he'd probably just push it over and be like, it's not ours. We'll just leave it over there. Like, that's the vibe I kind of get. Just leave our shit on the border. It's fine. But it is weird. Like, first off, what project are they building right on the Mexican border? Is he like, in cahoots with Mexico with something?
Oh, no. The Mexico, our greatest enemy. As we know.
Well, according to the Republicans, they are.
Sure. I don't remember, honestly, if they actually... If anything I read said what he was actually doing, or if it's public knowledge of what he's doing. Maybe it is, and maybe I'm just was ignorant and negligent in my research. I don't know.
But how do we know, how do we know this was Elon Musk and SpaceX stuff? Like, were there stickers on it? Were there,
there must have been some, logo, corporation, obvious signs of it. I mean, and here's another little part of the story is that before suing them, Cards Against Humanity reached out to SpaceX and were like, hey, what's the deal? Right. Basically, why are you on our land? And they offered to buy the land from them for I don't know if they said a number, but they said it was like an insultingly low offer for the land. So
we'll give you a Cybertruck and a handshake and give us the land, basically.
So I don't know how. There's certainly no question it was them, because that was like an admission that they did something. They were there. They took advantage of this.
What I also take from this too is like, oh, we put this stuff on your land and now we're offering to buy it from you. I feel like that's what they wanted anyway. Like, oh, this game company has this plot of land. We just kind of bully our way in what Elon Musk's and all his other cohorts do as political kind of people. They're just going to bully in and be like, we're just going to take your land. This is ours now. And they got caught.
I bought X. Now I can buy Cards Against Humanity.
My wife?
I don't know what Elon Musk sounds like, so I just went for a vaguely kind of Eastern European.
There you go. Yeah.
I've heard him talk, but I can't.
Well, it's usually like
an alien robot or
low and mumbly.
It is. I mean, it seems pretty clear to me that this is legally very cut and dry. I don't see how. I am a judge, so I do know about the legal system.
You got the robe.
I don't see how a court could rule against Cards Against Humanity in this case. Like, quite clearly, they illegally used private land.
Right,
There's
without
no
asking.
Gray area here.
Well, there is if one of these people buys the judge maybe a massive car and charging unit and maybe greases a palm a little bit, and then they get,
I don't think it's gonna happen in this case. I really don't. I don't think that's. It's just so blatant.
Right.
Now.
Oh no, it's literal trespassing law. Like there are black and white laws about this that say, hey, we own this land. We literally have a sign that says no trespassing, especially on a plot of land so famous at this moment in the political climate that we're in, this close to the Mexican border, this close to we put this fence up for a reason. So this plot of land is kind of known. So I'm wondering if the company kind of knew this plot of land was just there without the border wall on it. And I wonder if it's just anything behind it.
I have no idea. Yeah. Was it just pure,
this land's
ignorance?
Empty. Right.
And yeah, they just didn't even, they were like, who cares? Why we don't need to look into what this is, or you got to think somebody at this company is in charge of that and thought of that. But
there's somebody in charge of that company that went, screw it. This is land. Let's just take it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of now I wonder how many other parcels of lands has this company just kind of trespassed on and taken, and this should be a deeper dive that somebody should look into, because I mean, I don't trust anything that the Musk corporations do in general.
Pretty
so,
fair.
Yeah.
They probably didn't, if they saw, somebody owns this, whatever, we'll figure that. We'll sort out the details later. They're probably used to just being able to we'll just
buy our way out of it. Yeah.
They definitely couldn't have, or probably didn't realize that Cards Against Humanity has a lot of money. They have a good chunk of revenue in the bank, so they are actually somewhat equipped to deal with something like this. And B, they are a politically charged group who is not aligned with the politics of Elon Musk.
And they also have a lot of users behind them. It's not like it's just a quiet company that's a liberal game company. They people, the land that Cards Against Humanity bought was paid for with money from its users, its fans, it's whatever. Everyone put in a chunk of cash to buy this plot of land.
It really feels like this is you messed with the wrong guy this time. This is gonna backfire on you. Not that it's gonna
do anything.
I mean, it's not gonna do much, but at the very least, hopefully Elon Musk loses a little bit of money and he feels a little stupid. And
it also puts this thing that happened, 25 years ago, I don't know how many years it's been right now, back in 2016, back into the news of Cards Against Humanity bought this parcel of land so that the wall couldn't be built in this area. And, we are in a political, the elections are in the air, if you could smell it now. And, it's election season. So we have that stuff going on, and it's good to just re-up that knowledge and get some more bang for your buck out of that. But my other thing, too, is
Sure. Those are words.
If this was just some lonely farmer's property who didn't have money to fight this, would they just lose their land?
They would, yeah. Or he would buy it from them for however
for
much
pennies on the dollar. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Any other, even a small company who most of them, even if they weren't very small, even if they were somewhat big, medium sized, most likely scenario is they go, well, you don't want to get caught up in the legal fees, the blah blah blah. It's a pain in the ass. Just take their offer. We'll move on. We get a little bit of cash. We weren't using the land anyway. Whatever. Maybe there's a chance they settle this out of court. Who knows? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
But I don't see Cards Against Humanity company doing that, because they'll want to make a spectacle out of this.
They might. I don't know what they want.
I would if this was if I was Cards Against Humanity and this was me, I'd be like, okay, fine. If we're losing money, we're losing money. But I would want to make a spectacle out of this, especially with somebody like Elon Musk, who just, first off, Elon Musk himself probably has no idea this is going on. This is probably his CEOs and whatever at the SpaceX company doing that.
That's not him. I don't know.
Well, no, he owns SpaceX or whatever, but I'm sure he's not making the final decisions. He doesn't. He's busy worrying about X and the building relocation.
He's got things to tweet, man.
It's true. But it is wild that that they got caught doing this, and I love it. Because I'm pretty sure I'm thinking that Cards Against Humanity doesn't have their logo on this property or anything.
I don't think so. No. Yeah, Cards Against Humanity. I mean, we've talked about how I'm not a fan of the game,
No, but
but I love the company. They really are. They're an example of a company really taking advantage of the profits they've made and doing funny,
right.
interesting, creative, and often morally good things with that money,
And using
which
their
is
power to do this stuff as well. Yeah.
yeah, it's not something you always see. Maybe they could take some of that money and make a game that's actually good next. But more power to them. And they
Right.
also they used to be headed up by a guy who turned out to be pretty problematic, and they got rid of him. And
Right. So they're like,
they
they're
they're pretty They seem to be very they're very they know what they're doing. They're aware of the modern era.
right.
They're on the right side of history, I think.
Do you think Elon Musk has ever played Cards Against Humanity? I'm sure he plays it often.
I think that's just like half the things he says.
Right,
I mean,
he
he
just
probably
reaches
I'm
into
sure
a
he
box
thinks
and
it's
goes, "Oh."
hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, he loves it. Well, we'll see. I mean, that with legal stuff, this could be
Right.
2 years away when we ever find out anything moved on this one. But
If we ever find out, it could just be swept under the rug.
in a few months. Like I said, maybe they come and try to settle, or I don't know. I don't know what they do.
But to be fair, there is a entire website now based on this, so there'll potentially be updates or something. Like there's photographs. There's like somebody went out and did
Cards
their due
Against
diligence.
Humanity's
And,
own website. Yeah, they have
Right.
a whole summary on there.
Which is great.
Check it out, folks. Let's talk about our case today. We got to move on.
No.
I'm going to get into it right now. Today's
Okay.
case comes to us from the internet. You can find a link in our episode description. Our defendant today is Bill. Bill, like all of us, as we said, is currently in the midst of the lead up to the presidential election of 2024. Can't escape it, folks. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. That means that his neighbors are putting signs up on their lawns for their candidates of choice. And Bill is not the biggest fan of their particular candidate of choice, but he is unable to put up any signs of his own to contradict them because his job does not allow for him to show any kind of public support or even to make donations to any political candidates. So, as a compromise, Bill comes up with an idea. He wants to put up a sign referencing the Mel Brooks comedy Spaceballs. This sign he wants to say, "Vote for Dark Helmet." Of course, the titular, not titular, I don't know why, his name isn't Spaceballs. I just like to say titular, so I threw it in there.
You have titulars on the brain?
Dark Helmet, of course, the Darth Vader spoof played by Rick Moranis. And also the sign would say, "I knew it, I'm surrounded by assholes," which is a quote from the film.
Oh.
Bill thinks this is funny, but his wife and others aren't so sure it's the best idea. As dual judges here on Geeks on Trial, it's now our job to determine whether the Schwartz is with Bill, or if he should just sit this election out and wait for election 2, the search for more presidents.
I like it. It was good.
It was, I mean, it's
It was
all
fine.
right.
It sounds like it was something written by a current day Mel Brooks. It might not be golden era Mel
But
Brooks.
I mean, it was something written by past Mel Brooks. Like I did literally just extract from past Mel Brooks.
Don't extract from him. It's all old now, and so we both are fans of the political parties right now of Spaceballs.
I thought you were gonna say, yeah, you swerved. You swerved.
I swerved.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly a fan of Mel Brooks.
Right. But you don't like Spaceballs?
I didn't know we were going to get right to this. I didn't know we were going to get right to the real controversial takes of this episode.
Oh, I'm getting spicy about this. No.
I think that Spaceballs is. I do think it's overrated.
Oh, it definitely is. It's definitely one of his, like, I think the geeky crossover for Mel Brooks stuff, and it's like it is probably, I don't know if it's the most quoted movie Mel Brooks has, but it's up there. Yeah.
I think that when you're like 12 or 13, it really hits.
Right.
And there are some funny bits, but having rewatched it as an adult, whenever I've watched it, it's always been like, there's like 4 or 5 really good jokes, and there's a lot of really dumb jokes, or jokes that are just, remember Star Wars?
And right. Like, and very much,
is Pizza the Hut a good joke? I would argue no.
Right.
Will I still reference Pizza the Hut and laugh about it? Sure.
Or chuckle at it? Right. I
or
would
like
say
a
this
Mog.
this
Yeah.
is not to me, and I own the giant collection of all of his Blu-rays.
So do I. So do I.
I don't think
Missing a
this
couple
is.
actually.
It is. I don't think this is my favorite movie by far, or even this is probably bottom of the barrel, bottom tier of where I would rank his movies at. It's like to me, like Young Frankenstein, golden. Blazing Saddles, amazing. High Anxiety, up there. You know, those
Yeah.
movies that are less of a yes, Young Frankenstein is a literal parody of Frankenstein, but
I just got it.
yeah, it's young. It's I'll tell you when
Because
you're
he's
older.
young. Oh, I totally missed that.
But like Blazing Saddles, I guess
that funny.
parody-ish, parody
Yeah, parody
adjacent.
of westerns.
But like not a specific thing, and I do think it started to get like more
It's not so
washed
on the
out
nose.
when it got to the Star Wars parody.
For me, it's Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and The Producers are the three like unimpeachable. Like those are the classics. You
Right.
can't argue against. And then everything else is kind of like varies from like might still be great, but it's kind of some of them just get dumber and dumber.
You know, Spaceballs might have been the first one I got introduced to because it was like probably on like a TBS or Comedy
Which I think
Central.
and for a lot of kids, or you go
And
to a sleepover, they want to watch that, whatever. Yeah.
And I think it might be the cleanest Mel Brooks movie. Not that like, I mean, okay, yeah, Blazing Saddles aside.
Young Frankenstein's pretty clean, but yeah, I think that's
okay, yeah, I guess.
there's like innuendos, but so
Right.
does Spaceballs have innuendos.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, yes, it's certainly Spaceballs has an appeal to 12-year-olds.
Right.
I think I also of all of Mel Brooks's movies, I think you're right that it's one of the most quoted. I kind of put it in the same category as The Holy Grail, as Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
It feels like they both appeal to the same kind of nerd.
Yes, like because I tried watching Holy Grail maybe the last 10 years or so, and like I remember in college or even high school, middle school, loving that movie, and then going back to it, it's like, oh, it's okay. Not the greatest movie, not the greatest Monty Python movie. I'll do Life of Brian or other movies over that, but you're right, it's up there. It's like you have to be a certain like a Napoleon Dynamite kind of like era of movie, even though it came out much
Earlier. Yeah, it's kind of in the same thing, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it's the there's something about it that there's so many quotes and so many specific jokes about a specific, like it's science fiction or medieval fantasy, things that are very geeky,
Right.
and that there's also especially for when they came out,
Right.
like the 80s, when it felt cooler to be able, if you had the VHS or whatever from Blockbuster, it was a little more exclusive. Everybody couldn't just memorize this tape. It was more like, if you know Spaceball quotes, if you meet a kid who knows Spaceball quotes at camp or whatever,
He was the
you
guy.
know that kid is like the same kind of kid as you.
Right. But also too,
A
like
loser.
there also was, there's a lot of parodies around that time, but then I think like as in the era of us growing up with movies and our tastes and stuff, that was like the flood of parody movies, the scary movies, the all those types of kind of not so great parody movies. Like what was it, like Not Another Teen Movie, like that kind of
That
movie.
one's good.
That one's not bad, but like
That one is
like,
good.
but around that time, like a lot of those movies came out where I feel like there weren't a ton of them back when like Spaceballs and all that kind of stuff did come out. So it was like like even Airplane. Like that was like, newish for its time, give or take.
Yes, it was more novel, I think, especially Spaceballs when it came out. Although it's funny that Spaceballs, you don't realize it because when we grew up with it already existing, but Spaceballs came out like a decade after Star Wars was relevant.
Right.
Like it's not like it came out right at the peak
Like
of
day
Star Wars.
2, right.
No, it was like 1980. It was like 5 or 6 years after.
Well, that's why I
Return of the
think
Jedi.
it was another major thing for the Star Wars fans because, like, okay, this isn't a Star Wars movie, but we haven't had a Star Wars movie in 10 years. This is great. This is
Yeah, that maybe was part of the appeal.
Now, do you think, because a lot of the jokes are a little bit more sterile than other Mel Brooks things, do you think they had to like go like, oh, we have to get this approved by 20th Century Fox and stuff at all, or no?
No, I don't think so. They didn't give a shit back
Okay.
then. I don't think.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I don't know. Maybe there was more. I think by the fact that he already was a name and had made Young Frankenstein and stuff, that like probably, he had a little cred. And it was Pizza the Hut. Clearly not a violation of copyright.
Well,
it was Dark Helmet.
Right. Parody laws as they are. Now, and there are a bunch of good celebrities in this movie, too. I love the cast. Rick Moranis.
Can't knock the cast.
Oh, God, I'm blanking on who was the female comedian.
Female comedian.
Joan Rivers was in it.
Joan Rivers.
That's the female comedian. The female comedian.
She plays Mog, right?
Right, yep.
Yeah, I know. John Candy. Yeah, there's a lot of it's great. You can have fun with that. At the end, when the alien comes out and does a little dance.
That's true. Yeah,
that part I like. That is
like
extremely stupid, but I do like that part.
So I think
it makes no sense. It's stupid. No. It's terrible.
They tried to push it a little bit too far with some stuff, like the vacuum cleaner ship, like that. Some of it was a little much.
It's very cheesy, but
enjoyable. I'll probably watch it tonight.
Sure, I'm gonna go watch it tonight for sure.
Right now, actually,
for a sect of people like Bill in our story, it is, if you grew up watching this movie, I understand it'll have a certain nostalgic place in your heart. What's your take on? Let's completely switch gears here to political signs. Thank you. Oh, that was some good prop work right there for video watchers.
Yeah, yep, and for audio listeners, you have to go watch it twice.
Hold on, do it again so I can just do it again. I did a sound. Oh my god!
Oh, huh? They all died.
Shit. Anyway, do you ever put up a political sign on your lawn or a bumper sticker or anything like that?
I might have, like, maybe in college I had an Obama sticker somewhere. I don't know if it was in my back of my laptop or on my car, but like that was about like the age where I like gave a shit.
Yeah, so that was the peak of that was when we believed that
in a country.
Like, Obama at the time, especially I feel like for our age and generation, was like, this is a younger guy. It's a black president. It's like this could be like a real
hope
change for our future. Right. It really was gung ho about it.
And then 2016 happened, and I just went, fuck it, I'm done.
We don't need to get too far. We don't need to be too cynical and depressing on this episode, but yeah, I mean,
why not?
Regardless of that, I don't want to I don't want to talk I've never been so politically open about that kind of stuff. It's just not been my style.
Like I don't think that's true. I think you're very political.
Not in the way of like I want strangers to. I'm like, look, I want to yell at everybody. Yeah, like signs and stuff like that. I mean, I've also never had my own lawn, but like a bumper sticker or.
Well, if you vote for Trump, everyone who votes for Trump gets their own front lawn. Housing goes down in prices. Like you'll live the American dream.
Do I get a plot of land on the Mexican border?
Yes, and some company that's worth billions will just come and put pipes and garbage on it. Now, I've always been confused about political ads and lawn signs for two reasons. One, I'm kind of very much, I'm into recycling. I'm into, saving our earth. I know it's silly, but it's weird. But
cool, dude.
I'm always thinking about like all these signs that go up that people are paying for out of their own pocket. That's a different rant I'll have in a second. But like at the end of like, when is election day? Like November
4th,
5th. 6, whatever. The next day, all those signs are just in a landfill somewhere rotting, and there's just like tons of signs, even like, not even just for presidential stuff. You drive around, there's like, oh, do the school board, do the local government stuff, and like it always annoys me when I'm driving down the street, and there's like 8 signs, one after the other, in an area, and I'm like, no, we get it. You want someone to vote for Trump. You don't need 8 signs that you had to pay for. And the same thing with like political ad time, like on YouTube, who we love YouTube so much. But when we're listening to music in the car, every other ad was for Kamala Harris. And it's like, okay, fine. But like every other ad, like how much money did you put out
That's probably not what everyone's algorithm gives them.
No, I'm sure. No.
Well, I mean, to your point about environmentalism, I mean, you're maybe not wrong, but I think there's probably much bigger fish to
There
fry
are
in that department. But I don't know how much of a dent that's actually making compared to just, the waste of whatever company or political campaign even themselves.
Or even just like, and funds at that point. Like, people are
probably
buying.
I'm assuming, I actually don't really know how this works, but maybe if you buy a sign, it's probably a donation. Like the money probably goes to your candidate and you get a sign.
Right. So I'm thinking, let's say a sign to make costs $3. They probably charge you $20. And, like, ooh, excuse me. That was gross. Talking politics gets me gassy.
Oh, God.
But like,
why do you have to be like, it's the mustache. It's turning you into a fucking disgusting
just a
freak.
Gross Trump supporting. But like,
I mean, you kind of look like Yosemite Sam or something. I don't know.
But when I drive down a street, I actually hate seeing political signs. I think it's kind of trashy.
I don't know that I hate it. I don't know that I think it's trashy. I do wonder, I mean, maybe an argument is like, what are you accomplishing with it?
Well, that's
what's the aim of the sign? Because go
ahead.
You're not trying. I don't think you're trying to convince people to. No one's like, because it's not like the sign lists their talking points or whatever. Right. It just says it's like just their name. Maybe you get a 2-word catchphrase or something. So I guess what it is just you being like, I mean, not exactly equivalent, but maybe to try to bring it into terms. It's almost like having a pride flag or something. It's like, this is who I am. I want you to know, just from a glance, this represents me. Right. This ideal, this person, this thing.
No, and I get that. I mean, there's a difference with the pride flag, but it's also up there with like the American flag too, where it's like, I've talked to people who are like, aren't from the United States originally, and they're like, why do you guys have so many political signs up or the American flag every 20 feet? And I'm like, because we have to force ourselves to be proud of our country.
Well, they taught us, they made us, they told us to do that.
I pledge allegiance. Now, I think this year more than ever, like usually, like back before the whole Trump elections, the signs didn't bother me as much as they do now, because now it's not just only vote Trump, vote Harris, vote Biden, vote whatever. It's the curse words that people are literally putting on.
They should really take down the vote Biden signs if they're still up. That's a bit.
Hey, it gets the point across. But it's like the fuck Biden signs or giant flags that say vote Donald Trump, or like, this household supports guns. Like, it's no longer who you politically vote for or whatever. It's this household is against your household. And then my other point I wanted to make too, when you were talking about who are you supporting, like who are you showing this to? A lot of times you live in a specific neighborhood and most of the people in your area or even on your street are roughly the same political outlook as you normally. Like, you'll go into a red street or red state. Yeah. So it's like, who is this sign for? The mailman? It's the same people. Like, I see if you like were on a massive highway and people were, but even still, like.
Well, I agree. I definitely agree with your point that yes, specifically, it really is just the Trump people. There's no way around it that do those. They're not always even just signs. I mean, we live in New Jersey, and New Jersey's kind of weird because it's pretty blue, but then there's just like pockets of rednecks here and there.
I live in that county.
Yes, some parts of New Jersey are just Kentucky.
Well, that's why I have the mustache. I need to blend in.
That's right. And it's not even a sign. They'll have like a flag like spray painted with like just like a screen with Bible quotes and like racist rants, and it's like this an unhinged man lives here.
There's a house near where I live. I'm moving eventually. So around the corner from our house, there's a house that has a "Fuck Joe Biden" flag. a "we don't believe in abortion" flag with a fucking fetus on it. There's a sign that's like "we don't," like anti-trans, anti-gay, but it's like it's all of them. I'm like, okay, fine, we get it. Just say you're an asshole. Just put a sign above your house. We like white people. That's all you have to say. Is what you just
the burning cross is around back.
right? Yeah.
I do think the other thing you were talking about, who is this for if you're in this area, I think part of it is maybe even if you're in the minority in your location, but it's like you want your neighbors to know that this isn't just that we're not all like that. There are some people here and you should like think about us too.
Right.
Or say, whether it's red or blue, it's like I'm not afraid to say that I'm different. And
Right.
it almost becomes like a Christmas lights thing of
Yeah.
yeah, you're
They
like
stay up
my
for
sign's
way too
bigger.
long.
Oh yeah, you still see Trump 2016 signs that they haven't taken down.
Especially bumper stickers. Bumper stickers are a big thing too now.
Oh, they're
I don't
hard
know.
to take off.
Well, in your area, do you guys have the trucks that have the giant flags on the back for Trump? Like we'll
I've
have
seen
pickup
them,
trucks
yeah.
with like massive flag, and then of course there's the American flag with the blue line on it, but that's a whole different episode.
Yeah.
People go hand in hand.
So
Now,
we don't take part in this.
no, I'm also the opposite too, of where I was like, not that I'm like shameful or but I don't want to start confrontation. Like if I live in a red area and I put up my little Biden sign or my blue sign, I don't want people to be like, I heard a cat. I don't want people to be like, attacking my household.
Yeah, I'm just embarrassed of any of my beliefs.
Right.
I just don't need anyone to know about them. I guess I can understand the instinct, like if you did live in a place where just a bunch of signs you didn't agree with were around you want to put up your own to show that you support it. But it is at the end of the day, you really aren't accomplishing much other than it is kind of helpful if you're in an area and you see a bunch of Trump signs, like, well, I guess let's leave.
Well, and I alluded to this before, like me and my partner are actively looking to buy a home. And now it's like the perfect time. Oh, we're driving down the street. Trump. Okay, gotta go. Roll the windows up, trying to leave.
Forget Halloween decorations. It's scary enough already.
Oh my God.
This year I'm going to dress as the news.
So, and I've also noted, like I was saying before, like this has happened before, like, somebody had a sign on their lawn, but it just seems like it's 2016. Like this is a huge year for it. And
it does seem like that.
And I kind of like every now and then seeing a funny sign out there, kind of what like,
Are there funny signs? Have you seen funny signs?
Well, like I've seen before, like I'll vote for like, what was it? Like a couple years ago.
Signs or what?
I've seen like I'll vote for anyone younger than 60. Like I'll see, or like stupid signs like that, which I'll get a chuckle out of because that's somebody who's like liberal.
I've probably seen some dumb bumper sticker that's like xenomorphs for president or whatever.
I've seen like
Chucky for
Seinfeld,
president.
like Seinfeld signs before where it's like I'll vote
Pop-Tarts
for
president.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
That's on Jerry Seinfeld's actual lawn.
That's his bumper sticker of every car he owns.
He has a lot of merchandise that didn't sell for unfrosted.
Right. Yeah, so he has
to make use of.
well, he's a table out front that he's giving away stuff. That's what he's giving away for Halloween, Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, a funny sign. First of all, do we think this sign is funny? The dark helmet 2024. I'm surrounded by assholes. Which, by the way, he specifies in case this factors into the decision that the sign, which it sounds like he's making. I think we both think he's making it himself.
He's ordering from like a website or something. He's making
the word assholes would be censored, so it would be an A and then asterisks.
Right.
So you almost, if you didn't know the quote, you might not be 100% sure what that word is. I guess it's clear,
right?
But
if I was driving down the street or if I knew the guy, I'd get a chuckle out of it. It'd be something funny for like, put up the 2 weeks of the election and then, okay, we take it down and then we keep it like in the basement. Like it's it's a funny thing of the times. I would probably enjoy it. It looks like more than you would. I don't know.
I don't. The more I'm thinking about it and I'm like, maybe it is funny. I don't know.
Okay. Better as a t-shirt than a sign.
Are you asking me or telling me?
What do you think? Better as a t-shirt or a sign? Because if I saw this, these t-shirts exist. Speaking of the signs, these t-shirts of both political parties exist, and also the funny ones too, like the Costanza, like I was saying, the Seinfeld ones. I've seen many times across the board. Or
the
Leslie
humor,
Nope.
part of the joke of this sign is that
Right.
he doesn't specify his political party, so we don't know for sure who
Right.
he's surrounded by.
Which I'm kind of happy about that.
Oh yeah, we like to keep it neutral and unbiased
Right.
on the show.
We're very vague.
And it doesn't impact our judgment in that way
No.
either. But like, part of the joke is he's saying I'm surrounded by assholes is, if you imagine his street, you're actually seeing all the other signs around him of his neighbors, and he has this lone sign. Whereas if it's just on a shirt, it's like, where in Walmart where you're shopping right now? Like what's this referring to?
Oh, true.
It's not as
Yeah.
specific. So I think it is funnier as a sign. I guess just Dark Helmet 2024. I don't know.
See, I feel like Dark Helmet 2024 would get like a very small piece of the pie, where then I'm surrounded by assholes gets more of the, oh, that's funny.
That's his quote. That's his political quote.
Right.
It is funny. It's not bad. I think it's not bad.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Even in a non-politically anytime, really. We're always surrounded by assholes wherever we go.
I do. I enjoy the sign. Would I ever put it on my front lawn? No. But it is funny. Like I said, if my neighbor posted it, if somebody, I'd get a chuckle out of it.
Well, would you be worried that your neighbors, because, politics are a touchy issue, would you be worried that they would, is it any worse than just putting up the opposite candidate? Like, does that kind of seem like you're insulting them? And or if they're not Spaceballs fans, they're like, fuck you.
I don't think so, because at that point it was like, well, you're surrounded by these people who you don't like anyway. So it's kind of like a screw you to them in a funny way, but it also,
maybe I don't know if he likes them, but maybe he doesn't hate them. They're his neighbors.
But if there are people who he doesn't like, they might know his sense of humor if they know him that well enough that he knows them. So this might be like a kind of thing that like, oh, look at Bill. Haha. I am an asshole. But another thing I wanted to speak about was he mentions he has a job in which he can't really choose a side or be open about his political party. And I kind of alluded in the pre-show chats that maybe a teacher.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that a thing for teachers?
I think it might have to be in certain areas.
But it's also he's not allowed to donate to a political party. That doesn't feel like a teacher thing. I don't think
unless
so.
he works for one of the political parties. That's the other thing I thought about as well.
Haven't you had like teachers ever in history or in school who like told you vote for this candidate?
No,
I don't know. I feel like that.
Because like now that video, like I think more videos are coming out in this day and age with this election and this stuff where it's like that conversation's happening more in schools where it's like we were just told there is an election. That's it. Because it's like I wasn't 18 in school.
Right. Yeah. And they'd get in trouble maybe by the parents. And I guess even in college, I'm trying to think. I guess they don't.
College, I 100% did.
But it's just, I guess maybe I just like felt like I knew, like you could tell which teacher was.
You could, but like, even like now I think more it's from when we were in school versus now things are more open. Like I would have never seen a rainbow flag anywhere in my school district, but now it's like, oh, they are there. And it's a nice, like I would have liked to seen that growing up as a gay youth. But I don't think it was ever like politics were never talked about in our school like that. Like there was never a teacher. I don't know about bumper stickers because we weren't allowed to look at the teacher. Like we weren't in the teacher's lots, but like, there wasn't ever like oh, I'm voting for this person. Like our teachers were very like, we didn't know much about them.
I had a French teacher who definitely had an anti-Bush bumper sticker. I remember that. So there you go. But
you're right. You do get, but yeah, I guess you do show your support on your car. Yeah. So I'm wondering if this
maybe it's like a government position,
government job, or maybe like works for a news outlet of some kind.
Maybe news or even like, I don't know, like some like NASA or something.
Maybe he makes political signs. I don't know. But it is weird that like he's not allowed to give money or show support. But then the only reason why I thought teacher was because he blurred out asshole.
That I think is more, I'm guessing, to not offend the neighborhood. Like that's probably more like a public obscenity thing.
Which I always thought was, I mean, ever since I was little and like just even like in I went to school for like, media and stuff. I thought you couldn't like show curse words and stuff on cars up until like 2016, which I guess that law just kind of went the wayside. But I could
Yeah.
have sworn like I was always under the impression, at least here in New Jersey, that like you couldn't have like any kind of curse words on your bumper stickers,
Yeah,
and you
I guess,
really
I don't
didn't
know.
see it up until the 2016 elections.
Yeah, well, we've just lost all,
Hope.
sense of decorum.
Yeah.
They're wild animals out there these days. Bunch of savages in this town.
Bunch of
But
savages.
yeah, it does kind of it does neuter the joke a little bit. The censoring
Yeah.
does kind of make it go like, but I also kind of get it because you don't want neighbors like the HOA or whatever.
Well, not
complaining
even
about-
that, but like we're coming up on Halloween. You're gonna have kids walking around a neighborhood. You don't want to have like kids seeing curse
Yeah.
words. See, that's always my biggest thing. Like, I don't care. Like, I
Even
curse
though,
with the rest
I mean,
of them.
assholes is not.
It's
not the worst.
not, but it's also like you don't
Yeah.
want kids saying that. Like, think about when we were growing up.
I
Like, that
do.
would have been. Well, you love assholes.
That's starting to get weird. I don't.
What do you mean?
We're talking about kids, and I just feel you're taking
Oh
it to a
no,
place
you're
I don't
but
like.
yeah, so children's anyway. So yeah, so I wouldn't want curse words on
last
streets and whatever because of that reason, and plus like people
But
need
I'm
to
not,
chill
like-
a little bit.
I mean, I'm personally like, I don't give a shit. I also don't think. I think any kid who's out trick or treating if knows the word asshole. Like they're not.
Yeah, I know that,
You're
but
not
like
infecting the youth with this word. You know.
I would, but because of that, like I would think it's more so. That's a different subject for a different thing. But I think it's
Yeah.
very much overly cursed with things like that. But neither here
I
nor
didn't know
there.
you were so uptight.
I am.
But go on.
But would you what political sign? What comedy sign would you make? Is there like a political what quote would you want on a sign that would be
Oh man.
like there's always
I
the
don't know.
simple I'm with stupid like the shirt sign, but with like that kind of stupid thing. It's up there with I'm
I would
surrounded by
do
assholes.
vote for Borat, and
Mm-hmm.
it would say my politics.
But like, how would you get that across?
It'd be in italics
true?
and bold.
But like, if you wanted to like shame your neighbors and basically call them a bunch of assholes,
Oh, in that
like
case,
what kind of
I would get photos of them from Facebook and I'd
right?
print out
Make a
big sign all their faces and said these people are morons.
You would go one step further and you would get one of those giant LED screens that stay outside and would just show like a slideshow all day. Yeah.
Maybe just a sign that just says asshole, but I put it on all their yards.
Oh, there you go. That's you have to sneak around at night. Yeah, that's it. That's the
Yeah, I
ticket.
don't know. None of the ones I can think, they're all kind of like it's inherently a cheesy idea, you know.
But it's equally, I would say it's up there and as cheesy as the regular political signs. Like it is.
Yeah,
is
but
as-
those are just more like common. They're mainstream. They're commonplace. It's not as like
It's as-
dorky.
I would say it's as tacky as those signs.
Yeah, well, clearly, I tacky is. I don't know how to define tacky. That's more. I don't.
It's something
know. That's,
sticky.
Sure. But it's just again, it's like having any, especially the fact that it's Spaceballs. Any pop culture sign on your yard that's like a geeky reference to something. It's like, all right, you're a dork. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying,
but
it's
yeah.
dorky. Like that's just.
Have
a
you ever
fact.
had a dorky bumper sticker?
I've never had any bumper stickers. It's not. I mean, most, I've done. The only thing I've ever decorated is like walls of my room or something. Not.
You never
or,
had
like,
one
a
of our
laptop.
bumper stickers on your car?
Does that really count?
That's pretty fucking dorky.
Yeah. Well, it was also when I was like 15 or whatever.
Well, that's about the era that kind of starts. I would think that's a.
And I regretted it. It was a bitch to take off.
Well, you just gave away the car. You just said, I can't get this off. Here you
well,
go.
I fucking drove it into a ditch. That's what I did.
Quite literally.
Blew
So, do you want to get into verdicts?
I guess I'm still trying to think of the other stupid
okay.
pop culture signs you would use. I feel like you'd go with the like Idiocracy or like some leader from a sci-fi like Darth Vader, the Emperor. That's the kind of shit people
Right.
would do. Yeah. All right. You want me to verdict?
Yeah, give me a verdict. I feel like this is a pretty easy one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I
You want me
think
to go first?
at first I was kind of because I understand from the wife's perspective and perhaps other family members or other neighbors
Mm,
or whoever that there's an aspect to this that's kind of embarrassing. That it's maybe like I don't want our neighbors looking at us and like seeing this on our lawn and talking about it. So I don't I get the objection to it. I also admit that I think personally if I drove down this street and I saw 5 Trump signs and this one dark helmet sign, I probably would think that was pretty funny.
right.
I would, is it dorky and cheesy? Yes, but knowing the reference, I would probably be like, yeah, that's kind of funny.
But you would also have eggs in your car that you would throw at him.
Yes, I would be ready with the eggs for
Mhm.
sure. I always am. I always have those on hand. So I guess ultimately what we're doing is not we're judging him for whether or not this idea is out of hand, out of
Right.
line. So while I do acknowledge and hear the concerns of the wife and perhaps others, I don't think I don't think this sign is exactly it's not like strong enough. It's
Mm.
lukewarm enough that most people will probably just see that it's a joke. They won't make a big deal out of it, even though I think it hurts the joke. He is going so far as to censor the language on it. So you can't even argue that it's like, oh, it's offensive or something like that. So
Right.
I'm gonna say not guilty. I don't know that it's something that like I would do or that I would even if someone told me they were gonna do it, I might even be like, hey, maybe don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's just not over the line really. So I'm ultimately gonna say not guilty.
I do agree. I mean, I think it's funny. It's cute. It's something that like breaks up the kind of the tension of the area too, especially if you're surrounded by a bunch of
Assholes.
people who are a bunch of people who are like anti your political view depending on whatever side you're on. So it is funny to be like, oh, I'm going to put a sign up and then have the, just break it up a little bit, maybe get a chuckle out of somebody. Hell, maybe even start some shit with a neighbor, which is always fun. It's always fun to just poke
Why
the,
not?
the bear occasionally. And I don't think Bill did really anything wrong. I kind of like that maybe he's uncursing the word. He's censoring it a bit.
Uncursing.
Uncursing. It's uncursed.
That's what a witch does.
No, they curse. They do a curse. They don't do an uncurse.
Well, if you make up for whatever thing you did that made them curse you.
True. And, depending on whatever his job is, that we don't know what the job is, that he's still fine about posting this to Reddit, but he can't. Anyway, it's a fake name. He doesn't. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't think he's guilty at all. It's fun play. It's comedy. It's parody, and it's lightening up maybe a problematic area and neighborhood with some comedy from a movie.
Couldn't we all use a good laugh now in these trying times?
Yes.
Isn't that the real answer to it all? Just put on a comedy we can all enjoy, like The Three Stooges.
Right.
Universal comedy. None of this liberal humor, like John Oliver. Something we can all enjoy, like Larry the Cable Guy.
I gotta go.
What are you looking for?
My way out.
Did you go to Taco Bell for breakfast today?
Yeah, I did.
So that would have been like 7 hours ago when you're still drinking that coffee. All right. So we need to. Who are we punishing? Who's the other side of this? His neighbors, I guess. His wife.
Oh yeah. Who's brought this case in? Is this a one-sided case? I guess the wife brought this into the.
I don't really want to punish her. I don't think she's in the wrong. She's not like she's banning him from doing it. She just had misgivings.
That is a different thing. Like if you're doing something to the front of your house and you have other people living in the house, maybe talk to your significant other and be like, hey, I'm putting this out. And if they're like, then no.
Yes, I do think you need to get a consensus. You need to have support from the household.
Right. I would say the adults in the house. The kids can fuck off.
Well, yeah. Unless they're fetuses, then they get a vote.
Well, yeah, they get a vote 100%.
So
the
I don't
first
know.
trimester.
I guess it's let's just burn down the neighbors' houses.
Okay, yeah,
That's my vote.
Yeah. They have to. Well, the neighbors
Torch
all have to
them
take down. They all have to take down their signs. We get it.
They have to take down their signs.
Everyone knows who they're voting for at this point. We don't need the signs.
By the way, the joke is funnier if they have different political signs. You know, if it's not just one party. I think it's funnier if it's all of them. But
Sure.
I don't know. It sounds like he's saying it's more just one side.
It's really he just wants to call his neighbors assholes in a public manner. But
That's
he
what
can't.
it is. He doesn't really have a political alignment.
Right.
He just, if anything, he just wants to have, like my idea with all their pictures on it.
Right. He really he should. Yeah, he has to make a bigger sign. That's it's good for him, bad for them.
So we're burning down their houses. All right. And also they have to stay home. They can't vote this year.
Right. No voting. Yeah. No
voting.
Yeah, unless
Don't
they're
vote.
aligned with us, and then they have to. But it's fine.
And you at home, you shouldn't vote either.
Yeah. No voting.
Let us know if you're watching or listening to this episode what you think about this. Should you vote? Should you not vote? How do you feel about political signs or our verdicts? Email us, geeksontrial@gmail.com. Same place you can go to submit your own geeky case, which we will settle right here for you on the air. There's a link as well. You can submit that in a special handy-dandy form in our episode show notes. We will dispute it. We will debate it. We will settle it. We'll give you a verdict right here on the show.
Okay.
And, if you want, you can also drop an opinion or two in our YouTube comments.
And instead of buying, any political signs or T-shirts or bumper stickers, hey, give us $5. It's a hell of a lot cheaper, and it goes towards people who actually need the money, who doesn't just have, billions of dollars and handouts and greased palms and all that. Head on over to patreon.com/geeksontrial, $5 a month, and you gain early access to this video or audio and a very special show called Geeks on Trial Sidebar. Comes out twice a month. Great show and just fun times had by all. And if you don't want to give us money, just watch the shows, listen to the shows, give us 5 stars, thumbs up, click the bell, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And and that's basically it. Jonathan, where can people find you when you're not voting? I don't know. Where can people find you and your other things?
Yeah, we still got a month and a half before the real voting begins. But you can follow me online. I'm on Blue Sky @Quence. Don't follow me on Twitter. That shit's gone.
What's Twitter?
Fuck off, Elon. You can follow me on Letterboxd @Quence. My website is jonathanestes.com. I got a newsletter. I got stuff going on over there. Check it out. Ivan, where can I follow you other than when I'm outside your house in the bushes peeping through your little window?
That's you. I got a big window, my friend. Big, huge.
That's not the one I'm peeping through.
Huge window.
I made a little one.
Well, you can follow me on all the social medias under Ivan Han or Ivan R. Han. That's every social media out there. And hey, there's a brand new episode of The Snack Guy coming out where I have this guy who I do this show with. It's going to be on that show with me. I'm going to be doing an episode of The Snack Guy with Jonathan Estes where we review Oreo soda. It's Oreo Coca-Cola. It's going to be fun times had by all. That's youtube.com/The Snack Guy over there. So that'll be fun times. And until next time, I'm Ivan Hahn.
I'm Jonathan Estes. That's another one in the books.